Hi, I'm Thornowl Fantasy, and I'm going to show you how to very easily, though it's of course still has some steps, convert the Sims 4 textures to the Sims 3. First thing first is Photoshop. You see, when you export all from Sims 4 Studio, so you have like the normal map and everything, and all the swatches, which I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that, because not everyone will know about that button. So yeah, no, of course it won't open in an S3PE, which is like the automatic opener for package files on my PC. So yeah, Sims 4 Studio, big screen. Why is it always so small default? I have to fix it in the settings. So yeah, a lot of people do like here, export mesh, and like export one of the pictures here, or like, wait, no, it will export with the texture that's selected. But there's also this button, which for some reason is Dutch in my Sims 4 Studio, which makes sense because my PC is Dutch, but everything else in Sims 4 Studio is in English except for this button, for some reason. But yeah, this means alles exporteren means export all, the opposite of import all. So yeah, this button, and you will, in the same location as where you have saved your package file, you will get this folder with like all the resources, except for this folder because that's my slide edits, to which we'll get now. So yeah, when you have your the exported specular from Sims 4 is this. Color on something transparent, sheer color. And you also have this, which is white on black. But it doesn't make much sense. Sims 3 specular maps look like, where are you? Like this. Grayscale on black. Which for some of the items, particularly base game items, is light gray on black, so that's how you get very shiny stuff. And to like counteract that, lots of people have just been using like blank black speculars, but that deletes like all the shine. And in this case, for this specific dress, why did I close it again? I can still use it being open in Sims 4 Studio. This dress has glitter, and we want glitter to glitter, right? And it also has this like satiny parts, which is sort of shiny, and again we want it to work, even though I don't think the shininess here is actually on the specular, it's just the glitter. But anyway, you can open the glitter in Photoshop, the glitter PNG. And yeah, you have this, which doesn't make much sense for Sims 3. Even though I've seen people use like speculars that are basically like the Sims 3 specular, but with an alpha layer in which the same thing is re-added. Like I know that Suteflower and does that, and Denizu does, and Joy converts as well, and like it works, I guess. Like it doesn't do anything harmful. It's just that like I don't quite understand why. Also, files with alpha layers are a lot bigger and heavier, so it's you don't have to. Just black with grayscale is enough. So I added a black layer underneath, and saturation color tone filter on top. So yeah, just desaturate in this case, and I save it. Then for the normal map, which normal maps are very handy, do not ignore them, they are very nice. First thing for the normal map is you need to convert it to DVS with something like NVIDIA Texture Tools Exporter. if you don't know yet how to convert a PNG to a DDS, that's like step one. So maybe look that up first. It's very easy, because we don't like DDS like when we're still working on the item. But in this case, it's very handy, because when you open a DDS in Photoshop and you have the like NVIDIA texture tools exporter connected to your Photoshop, it will ask this very important question, which is, do you want to load the alpha as channel instead of transparency? And yes, we want to load the alpha as a channel instead of getting a transparent image. Then you get this. You can enable the alpha, disable the RGB, so you just see the alpha. Enable both, so you have the red stuff. Disable the alpha, so you just see the RGB. And then Ctrl A to select all, Ctrl C to copy. And you have, when you open a new image file, just a brand new blank image file, that's 2K in height and 1K in width. Because for some reason, all the Sims 4 texture files are rectangles that are 2K by 1K, except for the normal map. Make it make sense. So yeah, just paste it on here. And you don't have to do this, because only this part matters. But if you want to, for like completion, you can just like quickly color it in with the right volume of gray, because why not? No, not too much. Be careful that you don't erase. Woo. Smaller brush. Yeah. And then save it. In my case, I saved it as leafy slip dress RGB to bake. And then do the same thing with the alpha. Ctrl A to select all. Ctrl C to copy. Paste it in here. Whoop. The wrong one was still selected. Paste it in here and color it in with the right shade of gray. Bigger brush this time. And save it. Save both of these as PNG, because the only reason I opened it as DDS is for the Open Alphas channel button. PNG is when you're still working on your project, a much more stable file type, so just do everything in PNG, please. So yeah, export as PNG, and here are my two ones, and here's my specular. So that's done, and then have Blender open. In my case, I proportionally edited the dress, and I cut bits and pieces away from the Sims 3 body. Here is the Sims 3 body on its own and joined, because I have like for every step a different OBJ. Yeah, this is for another video how to do this. And this is my item all shown nicely. And what you have to do is basically open a new UV map. What is this? We can delete this. Just by clicking on the button here. I've already done it. In object mode. And this UV map, wait, I will first just clarify something. When you click on it, that's the UV map that shows in the UV editor. My new one. So yeah, clicking on it is the one that shows. Well, you have materials visible, which I'll just quickly choose something. The camera is with what is visible in 3D view. So when I click the camera, this can still be selected in the UV editor, but the camera decides what I see in the 3D view. So camera, 3D view, clicking UV editor. Alright? Just to clarify that. So yeah, you have your old UV map. By the way, it is easier to do the baking before they joined, but I forgot to make my second UV map before I joined them, and then I made my UV map in the joint version, and I was like, well, do I have to redo it? Blah. So yeah. You can just, no, that's the old one, I should leave this one alone. You can just move it around. One thing that's very handy to do, as you know, the Sims 4 textures are rectangles, Sims 3 is a square, so when you open the UV islands, the UV map of a Sims 4 item in a square, it will all be squashed and much shorter, so for that just click S, which stands for scale, I, so the I axis, and then you'll get this box, and you can just do 1.5, and it will be the right proportion. Now you can, of course, still play with it a bit. Whee! I like doing UV mapping. This is right. And this you can sort of do for all the items. Four and a half is way too much, that was a typo. Just move them to a better location that follows the Sims 3 UV layouts. By the way, these UV layout guides are from Thornowl. Do you know who? He also made like a slightly fixed version of Mesh Toolkit, which is very handy. A version is in which the seam fixing for teens and elders works. Also separate. No? Sorry, I just burped, I think. I ate spaghetti bolognese earlier. Just going to briefly hide these so they're not in the way. Hiding is just with H as a button. So I'm going to select this and move it out of the way, just like have them all nicely separate. So I can just neatly select them all and resize them. Yeah, this is something I can do. About these, I saw that they're like, wait, what is this? Is there like a piece missing here? Oh, I think I accidentally hit, yeah. I 1.5, so it will then just snap together all nicely. What I was going to say, that you can put these right next to each other, snap them together with the magnet tool vertex, and that looks much nicer already. As I said, do not have them joined yet. It does have one advantage: you can see where the naked bits of the Sims 3 body are, but you can sort of see that anyway, at least in this version of Blender. You might not be able to see in earlier versions of Blender, but in this version of Blender you can have two OBJs selected simultaneously, and then they will also show up on the UV map. So now there are like two layers of naked body, because I also have the separate naked body selected and shown on the UV map. Maybe rotate, like this piece is like all weird and rotated anyway, so the direction doesn't really matter that much. Although, like, I think we might want this to be this direction, in which case we can, yeah, that's nice. So yeah, that's how I make much improved Sims 3 UV maps. But this is just an example. I had already made it, this one, in which I should actually change this with my newfound reasoning. So rotate, and maybe do like this. So yeah, this is the Sims 3 UV map. So you've got your old UV map and your new UV map. Now the shader editor, which is very important. I recommend to just make a new material which you call baking. And in this, it will automatically, it will have the green bits, the like, you know what, I will just make a new material, baking 2, just to show it properly. That was a very impressive material, baking 2, and yeah, it has the principles BDSF automatically. Delete it, just delete it. And image texture, in which you're going to open the diffuse you will use for your main multiplier. I chose this one because the colors are like not too dark or too light. They're a little bit light, but we can fix that in Photoshop, and the values are also quite even. So that's a good multiplier to start from. For example, this one has this, and this one the value differences are too big. And this one, these lines will show up darker when you grayscale it, and make it overall darker. These lines will always be darker than what this was, and it will be too much struggle with Photoshop. Again, whatever, this one is too light in these bits, so when you just want it to be very easily recolorable, it will act up. So I chose this one, which is swatch 6. Swatch 6. But of course it shows all wrong right now. Yes. Then do Shift A to open this little box and UV map. UV old. The original, and then you can copy, or you can like do Shift A and open new boxes again, and then make a new material, a new image, bake, and not 2000 pixels, just or good old 1024. It was 2000 pixels for the color grid image I did. So you have this set up, very easy. Then go to render cycles. It's always cycles. What's UV even used for? And bake type emit. Open your There are like a gazillion of these because of all my copying, and I should delete them somehow. Multi-bake. Oh no, multi-bake is wrong. Multi-bake should not be a color grid. Multi-bake should be a blank. It was color grid from before. So yeah, this is multi-bake 001. Not that it matters because it will bake over anyway because of clear image. Here I do 5 pixels. It gives a little bit of leeway, but not too much. which is very important in case you have these like very tight spaces, which isn't the case anywhere here, except for maybe, no, it's not very tight. Maybe here no, like I don't have very tight spaces here, but you may have them. I've also looked at some of the other Enchanted by Nature items, and whew, some of these UV maps are crazy. So you have this, and make sure that this is selected. And then you can just click bake, and you'll see magic. Ta-da! Yes, here you see it bleeds a little bit into each other, but it's beyond the edges of the UV island, so it's totally fine. And to check whether it looks alright, you can do this, and also have the camera icon here. And it looks the exact same. No artifacts or anything, just let's go to object mode for a clearer view. Oh yeah, this one was still visible. Look, it looks the exact same. Except for the legs. But because it overlapped in my the old UV, it overlapped. Again, like, you should maybe keep them split until after the baking, but this is very easy to Photoshop away, just like erasing them, and like it's not too much of a bother. So like whatever, even though I will just quickly do copy all of these suddenly. Bake, and just continue baking in here instead. And in this one I will briefly delete the legs, which will be easier starting from the second map. Just delete the legs, and then we won't struggle with them later on. So now is everything nicely split, and we can just re-bake again. It's just clicking a button after all. Select the image you want to bake to, otherwise it will act up. I figured it out very late. I was always struggling, like, why is it baking to the wrong thing? You have to have the image you want to bake to selected in shader editor. Very important. So yeah, bake. Have the right UV map selected. Go to render and bake. Now the legs are gone. Now the legs are all clean and clear like we want. So yeah, save mine. Multi-bake. .png. Save as image. Then the second one, you've already saved it, so you can just do it to a new, so you can just bake it to the same image, but you can also have a new one. It will just clutter things even up. It will just clutter things up even more. So alpha bake. So like the main alpha bake, you will then use for everything else. It will be handy later on to have this also baked, to have the alpha also baked. Sorry, sometimes I'm just silly. So yeah, alpha bake, have it selected. Bake. And it's the exact same contours, no difference. Ooh, no, what's that? Where does it overlap in the UV? Nowhere? What is this? I will just quickly edit it already because I will always use the alpha to like clean things up. If I just edit it in the alpha already, it will be automatically deleted later on. Image editor. Paint. Pixels maybe, just pitch black. No? Yeah, blend to mix. What is it showing? Of course. Why is it white? Why do you... yeah, whatever. Strength on max. Max. Okay, good. Save image. Opaque. And then when you have something of which you want to keep all the swatches, which is not the case here because it just has 4 colors. I will just quickly show it again. Like it has leaves, it has the glittery part, it has the satin lines, and it has the main color. So it has 4 colors. We can make 4 color masks, and in none of the swatches there's like a 5th color. So there's absolutely no reason to keep the Sims 4 swatches, in my opinion. I like making masks. So I'll just, yeah, I will literally, like, later on, I have to drink. My voice is, ooh. I literally do plan to go with a teeny tiny brush of Photoshop and redraw all these things. So we have the main multi, we have the alpha. So now it's time for the alpha of the normal map. Color, yeah, that's the alpha of the normal map. Nope. Normal alpha opaque. Again, just click opaque. There we go. That was easy, wasn't it? New normal RGB bake. Here, open the normal RGB. This is indeed the RGB of the normal map. The RGB, the red, green, blue. The red, green, blue layer of the normal map. Bake. And now the specular. Specular to bake. No, wrong. Specular bake. And here I have to open specular to bake. So yeah, you have the glitter going over the glittery parts. Yes. So pretty. I love, like, I saw this dress and I thought, oh, I need it. And I don't trust other people anymore. Yes, there we go. It's a little bit foggy, but I mean, it is blurry. again, it looks it doesn't change at all. It's baked exactly as is. This method of baking is primarily very handy for things that are fully meshed, which is the case here. Why is it not? Oh, because I'm in texture paint. Which is the case here, like even the straps are meshed. It makes the dress a little bit higher poly, with the feet attached. It is 5,000 and a bit poly right now, which actually is not high. Like, particularly coming from a Sims 4 item, because Sims 4 things are a little bit higher poly, like in general. They're like 5 Sims 3 full body outfits, like 5 or so, or like, yeah, maybe more than 5. No, I think it's, yeah, I really do think it's maybe 5 or so Sims 3 full body outfits that are higher poly than like 6K. So yeah, which is like the average for 4:3 conversion full body outfits. And the highest Sims 3 hairstyle is 9K, which is the dreadlocks from Island Paradise. So yeah, you've got like 3D straps and such. If you have an item that's partly painted on, partly texture, you can either choose between this and the methods, the like object to object baking methods from the Thornowl and AuroraEternal tutorial. You can choose that as a whole, or you can split up your things into the meshed parts and the texture parts, and then bake them separately and do some Photoshop finagling, putting them back together. So yeah, we have baked all our textures, and like the specular can just be left as is. This is the specular, is done, that's it. Of course, the other files will require a little bit more work. So just open them up. We have these two. I will first do the normal map. And I will just click on like basic gray hair and attempt to just smoothly fill it all in if I can find the bucket tool. Or otherwise we can just also open the alpha already, the alpha bake. Select all, copy. Here do a clipping mask. Paste the alpha in the clipping mask. The alpha isn't, the finger isn't fully erased. Yeah, now it's good. Put a layer behind it. Like, there are a lot of steps, but the steps aren't exactly very complicated. Behind it, not on top of it. Color it in, color it in, color it in. Do the same thing for the alpha. No, this was the alpha. This is the RGB. No, I'm just going to check something. So yeah, this value is 95, which is way too dark. And this is a little bit too light. So I think I'm just going to lighten this a little bit. Like the whole thing. Wait, no. To delete. Delete. Join. Now I'm going to put on top a new layer that is a lighter gray. A calibration dot, I call it. No, wrong thing. This is for the saturation. This is for darkness. Yeah, there we go. Now we can copy, select all and copy the alpha exactly as we did before. Ooh, no. If you save it now as DDS, leafy slip dress normal map Sims 3 DDS maybe I shouldn't have lighten it. Okay, let's trace back, let's trace back a tiny bit. Okay, no lightning. Leafy slip dress normal map Sims 3 TDS PC3 DTX5 interpolated. That was way too quiet. BC3 DXT5 interpolated, highest quality of compression. Bitmaps. There what allows to for the texture to become like smaller for people who play on lower quality. Save. I'm also going to the beginnings of the main multi. Where is the alpha? Here's the alpha. There we are. Just going to take a look already what looks like just grayscales. Ooh, oh my god, I love how subtle the difference is, because it makes it like a lot more versatile. Maybe I can even Photoshop it into the leaves not existing, the leaves just being pure mask based. Maybe I can do that. Shouldn't I? Maybe I can have like 2 multipliers. Does the original look this crunchy? Just going to take a brief look. Yeah, the original already looks crunchy as well, so whatever. I mean, I could try upscaling. I could try upscaling it. Anyway, I will start here. I will do other stuff later on with this. And that was it. That was it mainly. So yeah, now this baking method is so easy. Like, you really don't have to do much for it, and it's very quick. Like, of course, with my stuff in between it wasn't, but like this, my recording is 40 minutes, and I have made a new UV layout, I have made a normal map, I have made a specular map, and I am on my way on having a good multiplier. 40 minutes! And it's all like the exact right locations, because all the baking is based on the UV layout, and it's like baked to the exact same spots in a comparison when you like do the pasting and cutting in Photoshop. Like, you might have not placed stuff in the exact right same position, so it's a little bit wobbly, but this way, like, everything is based on the exact same UV layouts, and whenever I add the alpha layer, it's all based on the exact same alpha image. So it's all exact the same, it all layers on top perfectly, and yay! But for the multiplier, I think I will rebake the multiplier with an upscaled version. So yeah, and then I can like size it down, but like my working version will be upscaled. But that's for later. I will also make a video on the bones, because I want to try something with this, as you can see with all my OBGs, where I basically just keep the Sims 4 bones. So yeah, that I will also do. But I wanted to do this first, because I had to do the baking before doing some other stuff. So I was like, oh well, I might as well make a video in it already. And yeah, that was all.